We're at our movie production facility where we make our car YouTube videos and broadcast them all over the world on our big antenna. And we have a video coming up. Okay, we're at our test facility and storage locker. Let's see what we're rolling out today. Hope it's something good because I like being on the A-list. Ooh, top of the line flagship, Lexus LS500. That's expensive. F-Sport package, even more expensive. One of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is check to see if there's a spare tire. You don't get one with the LS. You get a set of 4 run-flat tires mounted on the vehicle instead. So they think you don't need a spare tire. And the second thing we do is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. And these are supposed to be pretty good. So let's see what happens. It's dark enough. Let's see what they do. Look pretty bright. Here's what the low beams look like on a wall 100 feet away. Reasonably bright, high beams. A lot of light here too. And here's what the rear view camera looks like. Nice wide screen. Even if the clarity is not the sharpest I've ever seen, but more than adequate. And here we have the high beams on a fence 80 yards away. The building is 130 yards away. A lot of light here. Go low beam. Pretty good. And there are cornering lights. We turn the steering wheel to the left. We have lights to the left. Great for parking lots. And the headlights do turn the same direction as the steering wheel, which comes in handy when you're taking corners, especially on back country mountain roads with tight turns. Overall, I'd rate the lights excellent. Make sure you don't break the front headlights, though. They're very, very expensive to replace. We're talking thousands of bucks. It's nice to have headlights turning the same direction as the steering wheel when you're taking corners on the freeway, like we're doing now. I can see way over on my left side. Works pretty good. Alright, here's the window sticker. Let's take a closer look so you can see how much this baby sells for. Okay, let's take a close-up of the price and all the options we have. $1,940 for a 23-speaker stereo, $1,400 for an air suspension, $305 for the rear cargo mat and net. And come on, that's shouldn't that be standard? $1,200 for the heads-up display, a whopping $7,800 for the F-Sport package, which includes rear steering and variable power steering. That should be interesting. Go down the list, blah, 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 and there's your grand total. And I've already done the math. That's around $19,000 in extras. But it is made in Japan, so you're getting something for your money. We also drove another expensive Lexus, the LC500 convertible. We'll have a link for that video at the end of this video. And we drove another expensive sedan, the Mercedes-Benz AMG E63S. Very expensive. We'll have a link for that video at the end of this video as well. So you're getting 3 videos for the price of 1, which is free. And we got some BMWs coming down the road. Subscribe, don't miss them. The V8 engine is long gone, replaced by a 3.5-liter V6. Thanks to a twin turbo, the output jumps from 311 to 416 horsepower, hooked to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is claimed at 18 in the city, 29 on the highway, and 22 overall, using super premium fuel, of course. Let's take a look at the cabin, and there's lots of room in the second row seating. I think you could fit 3 full-size adults in there if you wanted to. I'm told there's a 4-zone climate control option, which apparently we didn't get. Offers 4 air conditioning and heating controls, but we don't have this here. You think with 20 grand worth of options we did, but we don't. Materials and workmanship, excellent, as you would expect on the top of the line flagship Japanese car. We get the bulletproof screen in case the terrorists are shooting AK-47s at you. I'm just kidding, it's a sunscreen to keep the heat out. We get a real clock tied into the extremely large infotainment screen. That is controlled by a finger touch pad, which is easy to use when you're sitting still, not so easy to use when you're driving. I prefer the old control stick from the older Lexuses myself, but this is definitely a learning curve. I don't care for it, but it's what you get, so get used to it. One feature I'm not thrilled about is the shifter. The stick goes from reverse to drive, but to get park, you have to press a separate button. I don't get this. I mean, if you're going to use all buttons, use buttons. If you're going to use a stick, use all stick. But having these two separate doesn't make any sense. And the system can cause issues when you give the keys to the valet parking. They put it in drive, put it to the parking space, put this forward thinking they're parked, they're rolling in reverse. And before you know it, the car is rolling back, hitting the vehicle in the back, and this just isn't a good idea. I guess you'll get used to it over time. And here we have the drive mode control. Gives you Sport Plus, Sport, Normal, Comfort, Eco. And the gauge cluster changes color each time you do it. The climate controls are pretty simple. Nothing complicated here. This is your air suspension, raising or lowering the vehicle. This raises or lowers the rear window shade. Heated steering wheel, heated seats. I forgot what that does. I'll figure it out later. And here's how you operate the finger touch. Alright, first half of the video show and tell is over. Second half, let's go out and do some driving. I know I'm not going to comment about the grill. You like it or you don't. I don't have a problem with it. As a rule, Lexus has some of the best power steering around, but this variable ratio steering combined with the rear steering, it just doesn't feel right to me. I never know what the steering is going to do. I just don't care for it, but maybe a bit more driving I'll get used to it. It seems to be a solution to a non-existent problem myself, but rear steering is an option. You don't have to buy it. As we do in all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 20 miles per hour, see how the suspension performs on impact, and we do have it in the comfort mode. Here comes bump number 1. That was pretty smooth. Here comes bump number 2. Didn't feel a thing. Number 3. And here comes the nasty one. Let's see what happens here. Very, very smooth, as a luxury car should be. Let's do that again in the Sport Plus mode and see what happens. Bump number 1. It felt it a little bit, but not much. Number 2. Still pretty smooth. Number 3. And the nasty one. Yeah, I felt that one. Let's see what this four-wheel steering does in a corner. And this is in the Sport Plus mode. Still have a bit of body lean though. I'm not sure I see the advantage, but maybe on a different road we'll find out. I don't recall if the V8 was quicker than this Turbo 6, but I guess it doesn't really matter because this is the only one you can get and it's quick enough. Yeah, I'd say so. Fantastic brakes. Well, let's see, a lot of heavy driving in city traffic and a lot of 0 to 60 runs because I was in a hurry. Ooh, 12.8 from 12.9. I think we better take a freeway trip and see if we can get a better figure. So I'll reset everything right now. There we go. Driving in the normal mode. Well, it's quota time for tickets. 4 police to stop 1 car. This is an extremely comfortable vehicle for highway trips. Very smooth, quiet, and this air suspension is definitely worth the extra money. Not so sure about the rear steering though. Ooh, now we got some real rough pavement. You might be able to hear it on the microphone, but I don't feel anything. There's a restaurant I'm going to have breakfast. It's around 52 miles from here. Yeah, you heard right. I'm driving 52 miles to go eat. And of course, coming back, that's over 100 miles. But hey, I have to drive this thing somewhere, so that's where I'm going. I find taking this on the highway, the normal mode works best. The comfort mode is a bit too sloppy, and the sport modes are a bit too twitchy. But that's me, it might not work that way for you. It's nice to know you have many, many choices. Just turn the dial and set what you want. Our highway trip resulted in 28.2 mpg. Good enough for me. Well, that was a pretty good breakfast, worth driving there for. But we got to make a return trip. That means another fuel economy figure coming up once this trip ends. So don't go away. Okay, trip's over. 55 miles, 28.1 mpg. So after a week of driving, what's my take on this Lexus LS? Well, hey, it's smooth, quiet, top-of-the-line Lexus and costs a lot of money. What can I tell you? Here are the links to some other fancy cars we drove and did videos on. Just click and watch.